Anger is the fastest way to give your power away. The moment your emotions rise, your control drops. People sense it, they push harder, they test you more. And without realizing it, you begin living on their terms instead of your own. Most people think anger is strength, but it is the clearest sign of weakness. It means someone else reached inside you and pulled a string. It means your peace is fragile and your focus can be stolen at will. There is a higher state very few ever reach, where insults sound empty, disrespect feels distant, and provocation dies before it reaches your chest. In that state, your mind stays clear, your body stays calm, and your decisions stay sharp. No raised voice can move you, no insult can rush you, no chaos can shake your direction. This is not about suppressing emotion, this is about mastering it. When nothing bothers you, people lose their power over you. When anger no longer lives inside you, fear no longer controls you. And when your mind stays quiet while others lose control, you stand above situations that once ruled you. This is where unbreakable strength begins. Anger has ruined more rulers than any enemy ever did. I have watched strong men lose authority not because they were weak, but because they reacted too fast. I stand before you with one clear truth learned from years of watching power rise and collapse. Nothing outside you has the right to control your inner state. The moment someone can make you angry, they can move you. The moment they can move you, they can use you. This is where freedom begins or ends. Provocation is not an accident. It is often planned, sometimes careless, but always revealing. When someone pushes your nerves, they are testing your limits. They want to see if you can be shaken. Most people fail this test without realizing it. Their chest tightens, their face changes, their tone shifts. In that moment, they have already lost control. The other person now holds the upper hand. Detaching from provocation does not mean becoming passive or weak. It means refusing to give emotional access to people who have not earned it. Think about how anger feels in the body, the heat in the face, the racing thoughts, the urge to speak quickly. All of this drains energy. That energy could have been used to think clearly. When you detach, you feel the same moment, but it does not enter you. You notice it, but it does not stay. Many believe anger is strength. It is not. Anger is a signal that someone touched a part of you that is still exposed. The calm person in the room always has more options. While others rush to speak, the calm person observes. While others defend their pride, the calm person protects their position. This difference decides outcomes. Provocation often comes wrapped in small things, a comment that feels disrespectful, a look that seems dismissive, a tone that feels insulting. These moments are designed to pull you out of yourself. If you react instantly, you confirm their power. Detachment breaks this pattern. It creates space between the action and your response. In that space, control returns to you. I have seen men shout to prove they mattered. I have seen leaders argue to show they were right. Each time they weakened their image. People do not respect emotional noise. They respect steadiness. When you remain calm, others begin to adjust their behavior. They speak more carefully. They test less. Silence after provocation often speaks louder than any reply. Detachment begins with understanding that not every message deserves entry. Words are sounds. Opinions are air. They only become heavy when you carry them. Ask yourself what actually changes if you ignore a remark. Most of the time, nothing is lost. Pride feels hurt, but position remains intact. When you protect position over pride, anger loses its grip. The world is full of people who act from emotion. They react first and think later. This gives you an advantage if you refuse to play the same game. When someone tries to provoke you and fails, confusion follows. They expected a reaction. They prepared for conflict. When it does not come, they lose balance. Detachment also sharpens awareness. Instead of focusing on the insult, you notice the intention. You see patterns. You see who seeks control through irritation. You see who uses emotion to gain attention. This knowledge is power. It allows you to choose distance where needed and firmness where required. Many people fear detachment because they think it makes them invisible. In reality, it makes them untouchable. When you do not react, people start watching you more closely. They wonder what you are thinking. They sense depth. Mystery creates respect far more than noise ever could. The habit of detachment grows through repetition. The first time you hold back, it feels uncomfortable. The mind screams for release. The body wants expression. Stay still. Breathe slowly. Notice how the urge fades. The second time becomes easier. Over time, provocation loses its effect completely. Detachment also protects your health. Anger carries a cost. It steals sleep. It tightens muscles. It clouds judgment. A calm mind rests better. A rested mind sees clearly. Clear sight leads to better decisions. Better decisions shape them. Some will say that ignoring provocation allows others to cross boundaries. This is false. Boundaries are enforced through action, not emotion. Calm words spoken at the right time carry more weight than loud reactions spoken too early. When correction is needed, deliver it without heat. Heat invites resistance. Calm invites compliance. There is a quiet confidence that comes with detachment. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself. You stop chasing validation. You move through situations with ease. People sense this and respond differently. They may not understand why, but they feel it. Provocation feeds on attention. When you remove attention, it starves. Those who provoke often seek to feel powerful. Deny them that feeling, and they move on to easier targets. Your silence becomes a filter that removes unnecessary conflict from your life. Think of moments when anger led you to say something you later regretted. Detachment would have prevented that. Think of moments when calm allowed you to win without effort. That is the path of control. Power is not loud, it is steady. It does not rush, it does not explain itself to everyone. Detachment is not about suppressing emotion. It is about choosing when and where emotion is allowed. Belongs to you alone. When you master detachment, people can no longer pull you into chaos. You remain centered while others spin. You become difficult to manipulate, difficult to provoke, difficult to defeat. This is how anger loses its hold, not through force, but through distance, not through denial, but through awareness. When provocation arrives, you stay grounded. When others try to shake you, you remain still. In that stillness, strength grows. Detach from provocation, and you take back ownership of your inner world. Once that is yours, no one can disturb your peace unless you allow it. The voice inside your head decides how long anger stays alive. No one talks about this enough. People blame the situation, the words, the disrespect, but the real fire is fed by what you say to yourself after the moment hits. The outside world only knocks once. Your inner voice keeps reopening the door again and again. If that voice is undisciplined, peace never lasts. Most people lose control long before they speak. It happens silently. A comment lands, and immediately the mind starts talking. It repeats the words, it adds meaning, it creates stories, it turns one sentence into an entire battle. By the time the mouth opens, the war has already been fought inside. This is why controlling your inner dialogue is not soft thinking, it is survival. The mind has a habit of exaggeration when left unchecked. A small slight becomes a personal attack. A careless tone becomes disrespect. An opinion becomes a threat. When this happens, anger feels justified. The body responds as if danger is present. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, logic steps aside. None of this is caused by the event alone. It is caused by the meaning you attach to it. A disciplined inner voice does not deny reality, it clarifies it. Instead of saying, "This person is attacking me," it says, "This is a person speaking from their own limits." Instead of saying, "I am being disrespected," it says, "I am witnessing behavior that does not define my worth." This shift sounds small, but it changes everything. Anger grows when the inner voice takes things personally. Personalization is the fastest path to emotional loss. When every action feels aimed at you, the world becomes hostile. When you understand that most people act from habit, fear, or insecurity, anger loses fuel. The situation remains the same, but your reaction changes. Internal dialogue should serve you, not sabotage you. Many people speak to themselves in ways they would never allow from others. Harsh judgments, endless replay. Imagined arguments. This is mental noise, not insight. It drains focus and weakens control. A strong mind speaks with firmness, not cruelty. When irritation begins, listen closely to what your mind says. Is it rushing? Is it dramatic? Is it predicting outcomes that have not happened? This is where control begins. You interrupt the spiral. You slow the pace. You replace reaction with observation. This is not suppression. This is direction. A calm internal voice creates emotional distance. Distance allows choice. Choice restores power. Without control of inner speech, you live in reaction mode. With control, you decide when emotion is useful and when it is a liability. There is a reason composed individuals appear unbothered. They are not numb, they are selective. They do not allow every thought to take command. They question their reactions before accepting them. They understand that not every feeling deserves action. The inner voice must be trained to ask better questions. Instead of asking, "How dare they say that?" it asks, "What is the smartest response here?" Instead of saying, "This is unfair," it says, "What outcome do I want?" These questions shift focus from emotion to strategy. Anger loves urgency. It demands immediate expression. The disciplined mind delays. Delay weakens emotional charge. Even a few moments of controlled thought reduce intensity. When the inner voice stays slow and steady, anger struggles to survive. Many people think controlling inner dialogue means positive thinking. This is a misunderstanding. It is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about accuracy. Clear thinking beats optimistic thinking every time. Accuracy keeps you grounded. It prevents overreaction. It protects dignity. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for your actions. A panicked inner voice produces impulsive behavior. A steady inner voice produces deliberate movement. Others sense this difference. They respond differently to someone who is internally grounded. Control of inner dialogue also ends mental exhaustion. Replaying conversations steals energy. Imagining confrontations steals rest. A trained mind knows when to stop. It recognizes when thought becomes waste. Silence inside is not emptiness, it's strength. When your inner voice is calm, external chaos loses power. Noise remains outside where it belongs. You do not carry it home. You do not sleep with it. You do not let it shape your mood the next day. This alone changes quality of life. People who master this appear emotionally independent. They do not need approval to stay balanced. They do not need agreement to feel secure. Their stability comes from internal order. That order begins with how they speak to themselves. The inner dialogue should remind you of your position, not your pride. Pride reacts. Position observes. When you protect position, anger becomes unnecessary. You do not need to win every exchange. You only need to avoid losing control. With practice, the inner voice becomes quieter and wiser. It speaks when needed and stays silent when silence serves better. This silence is not weakness, it is restraint. Restraint is power under control. Control your internal dialogue and you will notice something important. Fewer things bother you. Not because the world improved, but because your mind stopped inflating every moment. This is real freedom. No one can provoke what they cannot reach. When your inner voice is disciplined, anger has nowhere to stay. It arrives briefly, finds no support, and leaves. What remains is clarity, composure, and strength that others cannot take from you. There is a silent skill that separates those who stay calm from those who are constantly disturbed. It is the ability to observe without absorbing. Most people fail here. They do not just notice what happens around them, they take it inside. They carry other people's moods, words, and behaviors as if those things belong to them. This is why they feel tired, angry, and restless even when nothing directly touched their life. Observation is simple awareness. Absorption is emotional ownership. When you absorb, someone else's stress becomes your stress. Someone else's disrespect becomes your wound. Someone else's chaos becomes your inner noise. This transfer happens quietly, almost automatically, because most people were never taught how to separate themselves from what they witness. A composed person sees clearly without letting the scene enter their body. They hear the words without replaying them. They notice the behavior without reacting to it. This does not make them cold, it makes them protected. Most emotional reactions come from confusion between observation and identity. A person speaks sharply and the mind says, "This is about me." A situation goes wrong and the mind says, "I am losing control." These thoughts blur the line between what is happening and who you are. Once that line disappears, peace follows it. When you observe without absorbing, the world becomes lighter. You still see the problem. You still understand the situation, but you do not carry it like a weight on your chest. Your breathing stays normal, your posture stays relaxed, your thoughts stay clear. Think about how often people ruin their own day by replaying something small. A look, a comment, a tone. These things are observed once, then absorbed for hours. The body reacts again and again to something that already ended. This is unnecessary suffering. Observation requires presence. Absorption requires imagination. When you imagine meaning, intent, or future conflict, you feed emotion. When you stay with what is directly in front of you, emotion weakens. Facts are lighter than stories. A calm mind says, "I see what is happening." A reactive mind says, "This is happening to me." That single word changes everything. When everything feels personal, everything feels heavy. When you remove yourself from the center of every event, pressure fades. People often confuse empathy with absorption. They believe feeling everything deeply makes them understanding. In reality, it often makes them unstable. True understanding does not require emotional takeover. You can understand pain without drowning in it. You can notice tension without carrying it. This skill becomes critical in crowded spaces, workplaces, families, and public settings. These environments are full of emotion, frustration, ego, stress, insecurity. If you absorb all of it, you lose yourself. If you observe it, you stay grounded. The body gives signals when absorption happens. Tight shoulders, fast breathing, restless thoughts. These are signs that something external entered your internal space. Observation keeps the boundary intact. Your body stays neutral. Your mind stays slow. This is not avoidance, it is awareness with distance. Distance is not indifference, it is clarity. Without distance, judgment becomes impossible. You cannot think clearly while emotionally flooded. People who master this skill seem unbothered. Others mistake this for lack of care. In truth, it is controlled care. They choose when emotion is useful and when it is noise. They do not react to every stimulus, they filter. The world constantly sends signals meant to provoke response. Loud voices, strong opinions, aggressive behavior. When you absorb these signals, you give them power. When you observe them, they remain external. Power stays with you. Observation slows time. Absorption speeds it up. When absorbed, everything feels urgent. You feel pushed to respond, explain, or defend. When observing, time stretches. You gain space to decide whether a response is even needed. Many conflicts continue only because people absorb instead of observe. One reaction invites another. Emotion feeds emotion. When one person steps back and observes, the cycle weakens. Calm interrupts chaos. This skill also protects your self-image. Absorbing negative behavior often leads to self-doubt. You start questioning your value, your choices, your direction. Observing keeps identity stable. You see behavior as behavior, not as a judgment of you. Silence becomes easier when you observe. You no longer feel the need to fill space with reaction. You understand that not every moment requires participation. Some moments only require awareness. The mind becomes quieter when it stops collecting emotional debris. Thoughts slow down. Focus improves. Sleep becomes deeper. This is not coincidence. Emotional absorption overstimulates the nervous system. Observation calms it. People who observe without absorbing often become leaders, whether they seek that role or not. Others sense their steadiness. In unstable situations, stability stands out. Calm becomes influence. This does not mean ignoring danger or injustice. It means responding from clarity instead of impulse. Clear response is stronger than emotional reaction every time. Practice begins with noticing your internal state when something happens. If emotion spikes instantly, absorption occurred. Pause. Breathe. Remind yourself that witnessing does not require carrying. You are allowed to see without holding. Over time, this becomes natural. The gap between event and emotion widens. That gap is where control lives. That gap is where peace is. When you observe without absorbing, anger struggles to stay. It finds no attachment point. It fades quickly. What remains is awareness, balance, and a quiet strength that does not announce itself, but is always present. This is how you stay unbothered in a noisy world. Not by changing the world, but by changing how deeply it enters you. There is a point where calm becomes impossible if everyone has free access to your emotions. Most people feel drained not because life is heavy, but because too many people are allowed to touch their inner space. Every comment, every demand, every mood swing from others walks straight into their mind without permission. This is not kindness, this is a lack of protection. Limiting emotional access does not mean becoming distant or cold. It means deciding who is allowed to affect your inner state. Not everyone deserves that power. When emotional access is open to all, anger becomes frequent, stress becomes normal, and peace becomes rare. Think about how many times your mood changed because of someone else. A careless word, a demanding tone, a disappointed look. None of these things physically harmed you, yet they shifted your energy. That shift only happened because the door was open. A disciplined person keeps that door controlled. Some people are allowed close, some are kept at arm's length. Some are never allowed inside at all. This choice is not selfish. It is necessary for stability. People often believe they must react emotionally to prove they care. In reality, constant emotional reaction shows lack of control. Care does not require emotional exposure. Respect does not require emotional surrender. When emotional access is limited, insults lose force. Criticism loses sting. Provocation feels distant. You still hear the words, but they do not echo inside you. They pass through and disappear. This control begins with understanding that emotions are resources. They fuel action, focus, and connection. When wasted on the wrong people, nothing is left for what truly matters. A calm mind does not waste energy explaining itself to those who do not listen. Many people give strangers the same emotional access as close allies. This is a mistake. Not everyone should be allowed to influence your inner state. Some people speak from frustration, insecurity, or boredom. Absorbing that adds no value. Limiting emotional access also changes how people treat you. When they notice their words no longer trigger reactions, their behavior adjusts. Some lose interest, some show respect. Some reveal their true intentions. All outcomes are useful. A person who reacts emotionally becomes predictable. Predictability invites manipulation. When emotions are controlled, unpredictability increases. This creates quiet authority. This does not mean suppressing emotions. Suppression builds pressure. Limiting access means choosing when and where emotions are expressed. You decide the time, you decide the place, you decide the person. The strongest individuals feel deeply but reveal selectively. Their emotions are not available on demand. This makes their responses meaningful instead of constant. Notice how some people thrive on emotional reactions. They push buttons to feel powerful. When there is no reaction, their influence disappears. Silence becomes a boundary. Calm becomes a signal. Limiting emotional access also protects decision-making. Strong emotion clouds judgment. When emotions are guarded, choices become clearer. You respond based on facts, not feelings. In daily life, this means not reacting instantly. A pause creates space. In that space, you decide whether the situation deserves emotional energy. Most do not. It also means not oversharing frustrations with people who cannot help. Speaking emotionally to the wrong audience leads to misunderstanding and regret. Selective expression prevents this. People may accuse you of being distant when you limit access. This is often said by those who benefited from your emotional availability. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. As emotional access narrows, self-respect grows. You stop begging for understanding. You stop defending your feelings. You stop explaining why something hurt. You simply adjust your distance. This adjustment brings peace. Fewer arguments, less anger, more clarity. The mind feels cleaner, less crowded. Limiting emotional access does not isolate you. It strengthens meaningful connections. When emotions are shared with those who respect them, trust deepens, quality replaces quantity. Over time, anger struggles to rise because fewer people can reach the place where anger forms. Calm becomes the default state. Disturbance becomes rare. This is how emotional strength is built, not by fighting feelings, but by controlling who can trigger them. When access is limited, control returns, and when control returns, peace follows naturally. Anger survives when reactions are fast and careless. Peace appears when responses are chosen with intent. Most people believe responding quickly shows strength. In reality, speed often exposes weakness. A rushed reply reveals emotions before the mind has caught up. Once emotions are exposed, control is lost. Responding only when strategic is not silence forever. It is patience with purpose. It is knowing that not every comment deserves a reply, not every challenge needs an answer, and not every insult. Words spoken without strategy usually work against the speaker. Think about how often anger came from reacting too quickly, a message read in the wrong mood, a tone misunderstood, a comment answered without thought. These moments feel small, yet they create long-lasting damage. The issue was not the situation. The issue was timing. A strategic response begins with restraint. Restraint is not weakness, it is strength under control. When you pause, the body calms, breathing steadies, the noise inside your head lowers. In that calm, clarity appears. People who provoke often expect immediate reaction. That reaction feeds their sense of importance. When nothing comes back, confusion follows. Control shifts. Silence becomes uncomfortable for them, not for you. Responding strategically also means choosing the form of response. Sometimes words work, sometimes distance works better. Sometimes action speaks louder than explanation. Strategy is choosing the option that protects your position. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. This is why responding in anger often leads to regret. Once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. A strategic person avoids cleaning up unnecessary damage. There are moments when response is necessary. Silence in those moments would signal weakness or agreement. Strategy does not mean avoidance. It means selecting the right moment with a clear goal in mind. Ask internally what outcome you want before responding. Do you want respect, peace, authority, or distance? A response without a goal is noise. Noise attracts problems. Responding strategically also changes how people see you. Calm replies delivered at the right time carry weight. People listen more closely. They choose their words carefully around you. This quiet influence builds naturally. Notice how powerful individuals rarely rush to respond. They observe first, they gather information, they allow others to reveal themselves. When they finally speak, their words land hard because they are rare. This habit also reduces anger because anger feeds on immediacy. Delay weakens it. With time, the emotion fades, leaving logic behind. What once felt urgent becomes small. Strategic response means knowing when to disengage. Some conversations are traps. Winning them brings no reward. Walking away preserves energy and dignity. Energy saved is power stored. In daily life, this practice looks simple but feels challenging. A pause before replying to a message. A night of sleep before addressing conflict. A calm tone instead of sharp words. These small choices shape reputation. People often mistake quick replies for honesty. True honesty does not require speed. It requires accuracy. Accuracy improves with time. Responding strategically also protects relationships. Many bonds break not because of deep issues, but because of careless reactions. A delayed, thoughtful response can save years of connection. There will be times when silence is misunderstood. Let it be. Explanation is not always owed. People who respect you will understand. Those who do not were never aligned with your peace. Strategic response is also about choosing battles. Some fights distract from progress. Some arguments drain focus. Growth requires energy, and energy must be protected. When you stop responding emotionally, people adjust. Some lose interest. Some push harder. Some show respect. Each reaction reveals who they are. Information is power. Over time, anger loses its grip. Situations that once triggered rage now feel distant. Control becomes natural. Calm becomes familiar. This discipline creates freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from unnecessary conflict, freedom from emotional exhaustion. Respond only when it serves you. Speak when it strengthens your position. Stay silent when silence holds more power. This balance is not learned overnight, but practiced daily. In this practice, anger fades not because the world changes, but because your response does. Control your timing, and you control the outcome. Calm is not something you are born with. It is something you build choice by choice, moment by moment. Every time you refuse to react, you reclaim control. Every time you stay silent instead of exploding, you grow stronger. People may never say it out loud, but they feel it. They sense when their words no longer reach you. They notice when their behavior no longer moves you. That is when respect changes shape. That is when power shifts back into your hands. Carry this discipline into every part of life. Protect your inner space like it matters, because it does. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions. Not every comment deserves a response. When you stay steady while others lose balance, you rise without noise. Over time, anger fades, clarity sharpens, and confidence settles deep inside you. This is not about winning arguments. This is about winning yourself, and once you master that, nothing anyone says or does will ever control you again.